You didn't stumble on this message by accident. In fact, some of you have been seeing signs, repeating numbers, strange dreams, that tight feeling in your chest that won't go away. And now, here you are, drawn to these words without even knowing why. But deep down, something in your spirit already knows. Because lately, you've been sensing a shift, a change in energy, a distance growing between you and someone you once felt so deeply connected to. It's not just your imagination. It's not just a phase. This is spiritual. And someone from heaven is trying to get your attention. They've seen what you've been ignoring, the late nights you spend overthinking, the gut feelings you keep pushing down, the way you keep pouring into someone who no longer sees your worth. But heaven does. God does. And the person who's about to walk out of your life, their exit is not a loss, it's a rescue. You've been praying for clarity, for protection, for peace. Well, this is it. This is your message. Because when you're a chosen one, your relationships aren't ordinary. They're assignments. Some people are sent to teach you, some to test you, and some to trigger the transformation you've been avoiding. But not everyone is meant to stay, and the longer you hold on to who they were, the more you block who you're becoming. Heaven is not punishing you, they're preparing you. And if you're listening right now, it means you're finally ready to hear the truth. You've been feeling it, haven't you? That strange heaviness in your chest, like something or someone is slowly being pulled out of your life. And the strangest part? You can't quite explain why it hurts so much, why it feels like a part of your soul is being ripped from you, even though nothing has officially happened yet. But deep inside, a voice has been whispering. A presence has been gently trying to get your attention. Because someone from heaven, someone who still watches over you, is desperately trying to warn you. Not in loud signs, but in dreams, in gut feelings, in the quiet tears you've cried when no one else was around. This isn't just about someone leaving. It's about who that person really is, and why they were never meant to stay. You see, chosen ones, when you're on a divine path, when your soul is anointed for something greater, not everyone is allowed to come with you. And while you may think it's your decision who you keep in your life, the truth is, heaven has already seen what you haven't. The betrayal that hasn't happened yet. The lie that's still waiting to be told. The silence that will soon replace connection. Someone you love is already halfway out the door. And the universe is begging you to open your eyes before you're left wondering why it hurts so deeply when they're gone. Because it won't be the leaving that destroys you. It'll be the realization that you ignored every warning before they did. Let's be honest. You've been sensing a shift. Their energy doesn't feel the same. Their words don't land the way they used to. They're present, but emotionally, they're distant. You've caught them staring at their phone too long, brushing off your questions, making excuses. And still, you convince yourself you're imagining it. You give them the benefit of the doubt. You hold on tighter, thinking love means proving you're not going anywhere. But here's what heaven sees that you don't. Their soul has already made a decision, and it doesn't involve you. That might hurt to hear, but the truth often does. You see, you were never supposed to walk this next chapter with people who carry the old version of you in their memory. People who only knew you when you were wounded, unsure, or still learning to love yourself. They don't recognize the power you're stepping into. They don't respect the purpose that's unfolding in your life. And whether it's a friend, a partner, or even someone in your own family, if they were meant to be in your future, they wouldn't be detaching from your present. So what do you do when heaven is sending warnings, but the person you love is slowly slipping away? First, you stop begging for what's already breaking. You stop pleading with someone to stay when their spirit is no longer aligned with yours. Because the more you beg, the more you delay the blessing that's trying to enter. Sometimes, the miracle isn't in the mending, it's in the removal. Sometimes, God allows the breakup, the betrayal, or the abandonment because he saw what you couldn't. The weight of what that person was doing to your spirit, your peace, your growth. Do you understand how powerful you are? Do you know how divinely protected your journey is? If someone is about to leave your life forever, don't ask why they're leaving. Ask what they were blocking. Ask what lesson they were sent to teach. And if that lesson has been completed, let them go. Because some people were never meant to be your lifelong companions. They were only meant to be catalysts. And the longer you try to hold on to a temporary soul with permanent hands, the more pain you invite into your future. You've been crying at night without knowing why. You've been waking up with dreams that leave you shaken, emotional, or in tears. That's not coincidence. That's communication. Your ancestors, your guides, someone from heaven is showing you what's coming. Not to scare you, but to prepare you. Because when it happens, when they finally walk out, when they ghost you, when they replace you or betray you, you will be tempted to blame yourself. You'll replay every moment. You'll wonder what you did wrong. But hear me. You did nothing wrong. Their leaving isn't a punishment. It's protection. Protection from a delayed purpose. Protection from draining love. Protection from spiritual entanglement that was weakening your anointing. Because heaven only allows those into your life who can handle the weight of your calling. If they can't honor that, then their exit is necessary. You don't need to chase what's divinely leaving. You need to prepare for what's divinely coming. And here's the part they won't tell you. The person who's about to leave may look like your soulmate, your best friend, your lifeline, but they were a test, a mirror, a reminder of what you used to need before you remembered who you are. You outgrew their version of love, and now your spirit is demanding truth, elevation, peace. They can't give you that. They never could. But it took this moment, this heartbreak, this confusion, for you to finally realize it. The most painful goodbyes aren't always loud. Sometimes they slip through the cracks of quiet moments. A conversation that ends with an awkward silence. A look that lingers a little too long without the warmth it used to carry. And slowly, the space between you grows. Until one day, you realize you're holding on to someone who already let go. But you didn't just lose a person. You lost a part of yourself that believed they'd be with you forever. And now you're stuck in a loop, blaming yourself, wondering if you could have loved them better, fought harder, or changed something. But the truth is, this was never your battle to win. It was your awakening to receive. You were never meant to carry the weight of someone else's indecision. You were never meant to convince someone of your worth, your value, your heart. The one who truly sees you won't need to be begged to stay. But when you're chosen, when heaven has marked you for a greater mission, sometimes God allows heartbreak not to punish you, but to purify you, to strip away every illusion, every attachment, every false identity you built around a person who was never supposed to be permanent. This isn't abandonment, it's alignment. You're not losing love. You're losing the version of love that was slowly dimming your light. You're shedding the person who only loved you when you were convenient, when you were small, when you didn't require too much truth or accountability. And maybe they were kind. Maybe they were beautiful. Maybe they even held you when you were at your lowest. But if they were meant to be a part of your elevation, they wouldn't make you question your intuition every time you tried to speak your truth. You see, heaven knows your heart. Heaven knows how deeply you love. That's why this hurts so much, because you gave someone the keys to a temple they were only meant to visit. And now that they're leaving, it feels like your foundation is shaking. But you're not falling apart. You're being rebuilt. Every tear you cry is sacred. Every breakdown you're having is a breakthrough in disguise. Don't rush to numb it. Don't try to skip past the grief. Sit with it. Listen to it. Because in that sacred silence, someone from heaven is speaking to you, your guardian, your soul family, your creator, and they're saying, let them go. They are not part of what's next. You're not cursed. You're not unlucky in love. You're not broken. You're becoming. This pain isn't a sign you're failing. It's a sign you're healing. And healing often looks like losing the people who only loved the unhealed version of you. The version that tolerated disrespect. The version that accepted crumbs and called it loyalty. That version is gone. And with her departure, so go the ones who only knew how to feed your wounds, not your soul. Think about it. How many times did you lower your standards just to keep them close? How many times did you silence your intuition because you didn't want to start another argument? How often did you feel lonely even while lying next to them? That's not love, chosen one. That's survival. That's emotional poverty masquerading as companionship. And heaven has had enough. You were not created to settle. You were not designed to chase. You were born to be aligned with souls who see your worth the moment they meet you, not after you've suffered enough to prove it. And that's why you've been getting signs. The dreams, the number patterns, the songs that seem to speak directly to your heart. That strange chill you feel when you're thinking about them. That's heaven. That's your higher self. That's your grandmother who passed on. That's your angel team telling you, prepare your heart. The disconnection you feel isn't random. It's real, because this departure is divine. And while it may feel like loss, it's actually deliverance. Don't confuse peace with absence. Their silence may feel cold, but it's freeing you from emotional manipulation. Their distance may feel cruel, but it's making space for your destiny. The person who's about to leave, they're exiting because your soul has outgrown the room you once shared. You're expanding, you're awakening, you're rising, and they can't rise with you. Not because they're bad, but because their season in your life is complete. And that's the part we struggle with most. Completion doesn't always come with closure. You won't always get a goodbye. Sometimes they'll disappear quietly. Sometimes they'll blame you to avoid their own guilt. Sometimes they'll rewrite the story so they don't have to face their truth. Let them. Don't fight for your side of the story. Don't beg to be understood. Let your peace speak louder than your pain. Let your growth answer every question they'll never ask. Remember, your value doesn't decrease because someone couldn't see it. Your worth isn't determined by who stays or who leaves. Your spirit has already been validated by something far greater than human approval. Someone from heaven is trying to remind you of that this pain is temporary, that your real tribe, your soul-aligned partner, your divine circle, they're coming. But first, the counterfeit has to go. The placeholder has to be removed. The one who was sent to awaken, not accompany, must now exit. And when they do, you will feel the ache. But you will also feel the air shift. You'll breathe differently. You'll sleep deeper. You'll find moments of joy that aren't tied to their presence. That's the miracle in loss. It creates room for rebirth. You weren't crazy. You weren't dramatic. You weren't asking for too much. You were asking the wrong person. And deep down, you always knew. You saw the hesitation in their eyes when you shared your dreams. You felt the tension in the room when you started healing and setting boundaries. You noticed how their energy changed when you stopped chasing, stopped pleasing, stopped shrinking to keep the peace. And that discomfort you felt? It wasn't a mistake. It was your soul's alarm system, ringing, vibrating, alerting you to what your heart was too afraid to accept. The love you thought was permanent was only temporary. And someone from heaven has been trying to whisper that truth to you long before this moment. That strange gut feeling? That night you woke up at 3:33 a.m. with your heart racing? That time you saw their name in a message and your stomach turned for no reason? Those weren't coincidences. That was divine intel. That was heaven breaking protocol to protect you. Because when you're chosen, the universe doesn't wait for you to hit rock bottom to deliver a warning. It starts gently, through signs, through silence, through subtle shifts. And if you ignore those, the message gets louder, the pain gets deeper, the lesson gets stronger. Because the calling on your life is too great to be distracted by people who don't love you in full. And maybe that's why it's so hard to let go. Because you keep remembering the good parts, the laughter, the inside jokes, the moments when it felt like you were finally seen. But memory can be a dangerous thing. It softens the edges. It romanticizes the chaos. It paints the red flags beige. And suddenly, you're grieving a version of someone that only existed in potential, not in presence. Be honest, chosen one. Were they really there? Or were you in love with their promise, not their actions? You have to understand, some people only enter your life to activate you, to show you your wounds, to mirror your patterns, to challenge your worth so fiercely that you finally rise and reclaim it. They weren't a forever person. They were a divine interruption, a spiritual catalyst. And once their role is complete, the universe will start making it harder for them to stay. That's what you're feeling now. The friction, the emotional distance, the misalignment. It's not sabotage, it's synchronization. Your spirit is upgrading, and they don't have the bandwidth to keep up. So don't chase, don't beg, don't bargain with fate. What's leaving your life is not punishment. It's precision. You are being repositioned, not rejected. And yes, it hurts. But you've felt this pain before. The pain of being half-loved. The pain of pretending you're okay just to keep someone around. The pain of silencing your soul to avoid rocking the boat. That's not love. That's self-abandonment. And you've come too far to keep betraying yourself just to feel temporarily needed. Heaven is proud of you. They've seen your silent tears. They've watched you hold your heart together with prayer and poetry. They've heard the cries you never spoke aloud. And now they're moving on your behalf. They're orchestrating exits that don't make sense yet, but will. They're sending you reminders in the form of losses, not to hurt you, to prepare you. For what's ahead is greater than what's behind. But it requires space. It requires clarity. It requires that you stop trying to resurrect what was only meant to teach you, not stay with you. You are not being left behind. You are being launched forward. The pain you're feeling is not the end. It's the echo of transformation. And one day soon, you'll look back at this chapter and thank heaven it ended the way it did. You'll see how every unanswered message, every cold shoulder, every slow fade was actually divine intervention. It was grace disguised as grief, mercy dressed as heartbreak, because without this ending, you would have settled for less than your legacy. You're not meant to walk alone forever, but you are meant to walk away from anything that delays your destiny. And the person who's about to leave, let them. Let them go with your blessings. Let them exit without revenge or resentment. Let them be free so you can be free. Because the real ones, the ones heaven sends next, they won't leave when things get real. They won't fear your power. They won't flinch when you speak your truth. They'll honor your light. They'll match your depth. They'll walk beside you, not behind you. And you'll know it's right, because peace will follow them into the room. So breathe, chosen one. Don't numb it. Don't distract yourself from it. Sit with the ache. Let it cleanse you. Let it break every illusion you built around them. And when the tears come, let them fall. Because every drop is watering the seeds of your rebirth. Every sob is loosening the soul ties. Every moment of release is proof that your spirit is stronger than your suffering. You are not what you lost. You are what survived it. You are what's emerging from the ashes. You are what heaven is fighting for, even when you forget how divine you are. There comes a sacred moment in the life of every chosen one when the soul gets louder than the mind and the whispers from heaven begin to feel like thunder in your chest. That's where you are now. That's why you feel this strange mix of grief and freedom, of sadness and clarity. Because heaven isn't just warning you. They're awakening you. They're shaking the dust off your heart, reminding you of your worth, and realigning you with your original blueprint. You are not losing someone. You are losing the illusion that they were ever meant to stay. Stop waiting for closure from people who were never open. Stop rereading messages trying to decode the parts that never made sense. The silence they gave you, that was the message. The shift in energy, that was the truth. And the more you try to hold on to what's falling apart, the more you'll miss what's trying to come together. This isn't punishment. It's preservation. Your spirit outgrew the connection, and now heaven is untangling the cords so you can breathe again. And yes, it's hard to accept that someone you prayed for, fought for, maybe even bled for, isn't the one walking with you into the next chapter. But if you're honest, haven't you been feeling it? Haven't you sensed the disconnect? Haven't you caught yourself rehearsing conversations they stopped having? That's not love. That's a trauma bond. That's loyalty to a version of them that no longer exists. And heaven is begging you to stop mourning what your soul has already released. This pain is sacred. It's carving space inside you, not to make you hollow, but to make you whole. The person who's about to leave, their chapter was essential, yes, but it was never meant to become your entire book. Don't confuse a sentence with the story. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to miss them. You're allowed to honor the memories without resurrecting the dynamic. But you're not allowed to shrink anymore. You're not allowed to abandon yourself for crumbs. You're not allowed to stay asleep when heaven is shaking you awake. It's time to rise, chosen one. It's time to remember who you were before they made you forget. Before the manipulation. Before the ghosting. Before the gaslighting. Before you started editing yourself just to feel tolerated instead of celebrated. You were light. You were love. You were divine before they ever entered your orbit. And you still are. Their leaving doesn't make you unlovable. It reveals that you were overextending for someone who didn't recognize your royalty. That's not your burden. That's their blindness. Heaven doesn't make mistakes. If someone is being pulled away from your life, it's because they've completed their spiritual assignment. Whether it was to teach you, test you, or trigger your growth, they've served their purpose. And clinging to them only delays your next revelation. There is someone trying to find you right now, someone who prays with your name on their lips and sees love as protection, not possession. But they can't reach you if your arms are still wrapped around a ghost. Let go. Let go with intention. Let go with gratitude. Let go knowing that what's ahead won't require you to beg, bend, or break to be loved. Let go, not because you're weak, but because you're finally strong enough to stop settling. And if you're scared, that's okay. Fear is the border between the known and the divine. But trust this, your courage is a frequency, and heaven hears it louder than your fear. Every time you choose yourself, you align deeper with your purpose. So open your eyes, even if they're filled with tears. Stand tall, even if your knees shake. Speak your truth, even if your voice cracks. This is your breakthrough moment. This is the line in the sand. This is where you stop chasing and start attracting, where you stop proving and start embodying, where you stop surviving and start creating. You are not broken. You are breaking through. And to the one who's about to leave your life, thank you. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the clarity. Thank you for the reminder that I am worthy of more. But I release you now. I no longer carry the weight of what could have been. I'm walking toward what will be. I'm walking toward peace, toward purpose, toward people who meet me with presence. Because I am chosen. And I will not apologize for growing beyond your comfort zone. Heaven is watching. The angels are applauding. Your ancestors are proud. And the future version of you? The one who's healed, happy, and whole? They're calling you forward. So keep moving, keep listening, keep trusting. Someone from heaven has been trying to warn you, not to hurt you, but to help you step into a life that's finally in alignment with who you really are. This is not the end. It's your becoming.